Hello, everybody. I hope all of you are staying in your home and you are safe and healthy. So, without wasting any time, let us start the explanation of the seventh stanza of Ode to Nightingale, written by John Keats. So, as in the earliest presentation, you have already observed, the presentation is divided into two sections. In my left hand side, you have the text, and on the right hand side, you have the annotations. So let us start. Thou was not born for death. Thou means here you. You was not born for death. Immortal bird. Now you means here nightingale. So the poet explains or the poet describes nightingale to be an immortal bird. It was not destined to die. As you know, as an earthly creature, we all are destined to die. One day we will perish. But in this case, nightingale is a very special bird. That's why kids describe it as immortal bird. No hungry generations tread thee down. The voice I hear this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown. Perhaps the same, perhaps the self same song that found a path through the sad heart of Ruth when sick for home. She stood in tears amid the alien corn, the same that oft times hath charmed magic casements opening on the foam of perilous seas in fairylands forlorn. So this is the seventh stanza we got here. Now let us see the annotations of us. Annotations. Let us see the annotations. Thou was not born immortal bird. The bird is a thing of beauty and as much deathless. Yes, it has been described as deathless. No hungry generations tread thee down. The bird is not subject to the struggle for existence in which one generation tramples upon its predecessors. Our life is full of struggle. Our life has so many obstacles, and we need to recover that to live. But in this case, and we are also been affected by this struggle. Sometimes we die, sometimes we live, sometimes we learn. But in this case, nightingale is not subjected to that struggle. Even that's why it has been described in such a way. No hungry generation tread thee down. And tread means here trample, and thee means you. So no hungry generation trampled you down. The voice I hear this passing night was heard in ancient days by emperor and clown. Now this is a very common fact. Nature remains unchanged. The animals, the birds, and their songs and their noises, they remain same. Doesn't matter when you are listening to it. It's whether it's 100 years from right now or 500 years before. Their voice will remain same. The voice I hear this passing night, the voice means here the song of the nightingale, which the poet is listening to. He explains that the same song or the same sound was heard by the emperors and his clowns. Perhaps the same song that found a path through the sad heart of Ruth. Now there is a reference to Ruth. Who is Ruth? So Ruth is a character, biblical character. She was married to a Moabite Jew. So her husband died. So she need to move to Palestine. There she was actually staying with her mother-in-law to share her troubles. So she was missing her homeland and she was missing her relatives and near and dear ones. So she was described in such a way that perhaps the self-same song that found a path through the sad heart of Ruth. Even Ruth, who is a biblical character, might have been find some sort of entertainment, or her aching heart might have soothed after listening to the song of the nightingale. When seek for home means for her fatherland, or for her near and dear ones or her relatives. She stood in tears amid the alien corn. The place where she is staying, I told you earlier, she had to move in Palestine. She was staying with her mother-in-law. So the place is not alien, but the land is unknown to her. uh, she is far from her home. That's why that cornfield is alien to her. The same that oft times hath charmed magic casements, opening on the foam of perilous seas in fairylands forlorn. Now, this is also a nice example actually that fairylands mean we all heard about. We are familiar with fairy tales, aren't we? So, what we heard that often princes or prince they are kept in captivity, or they were imprisoned by some evil or some kind of supernatural character, and they are recovered by their counterparts, and they need to travel huge distance, as we say in Bengali with sat সমুদ্র আর 13 নদীর পারে. So it's like that রূপকথা. So here also that and what happens, how to recover them. Now often we find this description that সোনার কাঠি রূপোর কাঠি, the sleeping beauty, they are sleeping, and you need to find a particular thing so that it may break the eternal sleep which the prince or princess was kept in, or something, some magic words which might remove their burden, which might change their constant suffering. So it has been very common in fairy tales. The same that oft times hath charmed magic casements. The same means the song of the Nightingale may have some magic element which opened the charmed magic casements where they were imprisoned, opening on the foam of perilous sea. Now the sea is not perilous. The journey of sea journey was perilous. This is again an transport epithet used here. Opening on the foam of perilous sea. There is a description in most of the cases that after a long journey through sea, they find the fairy land or the particular land where those prince or princess were kept. So opening on the perilous of perilous seas. Perilous means the sea is not perilous, but the journey is. In fairylands forlorn. That means forlorn means in a distance. Fairylands, you are familiar with that. Now let's see the annotations here. Hath charmed magic casement, has charmed the listeners, the captive princess who was sitting near the magic window of the enchanted castle. Now opening on the foam of perilous seas, opening towards the foamy waters of the storm-tossed seas. Now then you have fairylands. Fairylands are not the countries where the fairies live. They are rather the legendary country of romance. Please note, it is the song of this very bird, which is the high days of romance and chivalry, might have cheered the forlorn princess held captive in some enchanter's castle, as she sat by the window looking over the stormy seas for the ship that would bring the night for her deliverance. So that will be all for the 8th stanza. So I'll be uploading the last one very soon. Thank you.